Assalamu alaikum. 6 p.m. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Sumera Kamal. The headlines first. The federal cabinet has emphatically stated that zero tolerance will be shown towards a handful elements conspiring to put the national dignity and security at stake. Foreign Minister is in Saudi Arabia to attend a meeting of Foreign Ministers, a Council of OIC. China's Vice President has concluded his highly successful visit to Pakistan with reaffirming the commitment to complete ongoing CPAC projects in time. In occupied Kashmir, Indian troops in their fresh act of state terrorism martyred 2 more youth in Islamabad district today. British Foreign Minister says it will be a political suicide to pursue a non-deal Brexit through general election. And now the news in detail. The federal cabinet at its meeting in Islamabad today emphatically decided that zero tolerance will be shown towards a handful elements conspiring to put the national dignity, image and security at stake. The meeting, chaired by Prime Minister Imran Khan, strongly denounced the recent attack on a security checkpost in North Waziristan. Expressing solidarity with the armed forces, the meeting offered Fatiha for the FC personnel martyred in despicable incident. Later, briefing the media about the cabinet meeting, Special Assistant on Information and Broadcasting Firdaus Ashikewan recalled that the tribal people have rendered innumerable sacrifices for peace and stability of Pakistan. She, however, regretted that certain elements through their acts have put the peace and prosperity of tribal areas at stake. Speaking in the National Assembly today on the recent attack on security checkpost in North Waziristan, Minister of State for States and Frontier Region Shahryar Afridi categorically said nobody will be allowed to challenge writ of the state and cast an evil eye on the country. The Minister of State strongly denounced the attack on security checkpost in Waziristan and the language used by the certain elements against the armed forces. He recalled that the armed forces have rendered immense sacrifices in the war on terror and we should respect them. He said no compromise will be made on the law and the constitution, and anybody hurling the accusation against a state institution will be penalized. The Minister of State said there are foreign forces which want to destabilize Pakistan and we have to demonstrate unity to foil their designs. Prime Minister's Special Assistant on Information and Broadcasting, Dr. Firdaus Ashikewan, says the government believes in freedom of expression and protection of media workers' rights. In a tweet today, she said government is making all-out efforts to resolve journalists' issues. The Special Assistant said press freedom, conducive environment for journalists, and solution to their problems is part of revolutionary manifesto of Prime Minister Imran Khan. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi is in Saudi Arabia to attend a meeting of Foreign Ministers, a Council of OIC. Chief of Protocol of Saudi Foreign Ministry Jamal Nasser and Pakistan's Ambassador Raja Ali Ijaz received him at the King Abdul Aziz Airport, Jeddah. The Foreign Minister will represent Pakistan in the meeting of Foreign Ministers, a Council of OIC, to be held in Makkah tomorrow. The meeting will finally approve Makkah Declaration, the draft of OIC summit, after mutual consultation. China's Vice President Wang Qishan concluded his highly successful visit to Pakistan today. In addition to his call on the President, Vice President Wang Qishan held detailed talks with Prime Minister Imran Khan. Both leaders witnessed signing of a number of agreements and MOUs and inaugurated several key projects. According to a statement issued by Foreign Office, the visit provided the opportunity to the leadership of the two countries to review the entire gamut of bilateral relations and exchange views on important regional and international issues of mutual interest. The two sides held in-depth discussions on Phase 2 of CPAC, including industrial and agricultural cooperation and socio-economic development, and on deepening practical cooperation in tourism and people-to-people exchanges. Both countries underscored their firm commitment for early completion of ongoing CPAC projects and to further expanding CPAC. The two countries also agreed to enhance bilateral trade volume in a balanced way. In this respect, they also resolved to implement the recently concluded second phase of China-Pakistan Free Trade Agreement at the earliest. Yom-e-Takbir is being observed today with great zeal and fervor. On this day in 1998, responding to Indian nuclear tests, Pakistan carried out 5 successful nuclear tests in Shaghi, Balochistan, followed by another nuclear test on 30th May in Haran. After these nuclear tests, Pakistan became 7th nuclear power of the world and first in the Muslim world. This is Radio Pakistan. In occupied Kashmir, Indian troops, in their fresh act of state terrorism, martyred 2 youth during a cordon and search operation in Kakarnag area of Islamabad district today. According to Kashmir Media Service, the killings triggered intensive clashes between youth and the force's personnel. In another incident, a teenage boy was killed and another injured after a mortar shell went off in Bandipora district. The boys were playing in an open field when suddenly a mortar shell of Indian Army exploded in Gurez area of the district. In Pulwama district, clashes broke out between Indian troops and protesters during a cordon and search operation in Karimabad area of the district. The troops used force and fired tear gas shells while the youth pelted stones on them. A group of Afghan politicians and members of the Taliban will hold discussions on establishing peace in Afghanistan as they are attending a ceremony on 100 years of Afghanistan-Russia diplomatic relations. Besides Hamid Karzai, other Afghan politicians and former jihadi leaders are in Moscow to attend the ceremony. Taliban in a statement said a 14-member delegation led by the deputy leader of the group, Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, will attend the ceremony in Moscow. The ceremony will be held tomorrow. The Russian Special Presidential Envoy for Afghanistan, Zamir Kobalov, said that both Taliban and Afghan politicians have been invited to attend a solemn meeting dedicated to 100 years of diplomatic relations between the two countries. The United States walked out of United Nations Conference on Disarmament to protest Venezuela's assuming the rotating presidency of the UN Forum. Talking to newsmen after leaving the session in Geneva, U.S. Disarmament Ambassador Robert Wood said the United States will do everything to prevent these types of states from presiding over international bodies. The United States also did the same a year ago when Syria took the chair of the rotating presidency of the UN-sponsored forum. In Norway, representatives from the Venezuelan government and the opposition will have a second round of talks soon in Oslo, seeking to ease the political standoff in the country. Serving as a mediator, Norwegian Foreign Minister Eriksen Søreide said the talks will involve face-to-face meetings. EU leaders are set to meet in Brussels today for an informal summit to discuss outcome of the European Parliament elections. Top jobs to be filled this year include President of the EU Commission and Council, High Representative of the Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, and President of European Central Bank. And finally, the weather. Mainly hot and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours, while very hot in plain areas of Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, North Balochistan and Sindh. To end the news, here are the headlines once again. The federal cabinet has emphatically stated that zero tolerance will be shown towards a handful elements conspiring to put the national dignity and security at stake. Foreign Minister is in Saudi Arabia to attend a meeting of Foreign Ministers Council of OIC. China's Vice President has concluded his highly successful visit to Pakistan with reaffirming the commitment to complete ongoing CPAC projects in time. In occupied Kashmir, Indian troops in their fresh act of state terrorism martyred 2 more youth in Islamabad district today. British Foreign Minister says it will be a political suicide to pursue a no-deal Brexit through general election. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and also watch live streaming of our bulletin on the link facebook.com/radio Pakistan News Official.